I certainly am not dismissing any kind of I don't know, spiritual revelation or any of that.
Hmm.
I never really had that. I'm not a spiritual person,
Mm.
but I hate it when people kind of sardonically just sneer at
Yeah.
spiritual experiences, because that for me is a it's a real, almost objective phenomena, as in it's
Yeah.
something that happens in
This
reality.
was something that Lacan believed too. Lacan, in his later seminar, he did a seminar on Saint John of Cross. He was a saint born in the 1500s, 1520s, something like that. And basically, John wrote all of his mystical experiences down. And what Lacan says is that he truly experienced this. This is we cannot just throw this to the side like Freud would do. Freud would say that he's a neurotic and he can't deal with the separation from the mother or the separation from mythical unity. So Freud would say that. Lacan says no. What St. John experienced, he actually experienced. We don't know what he experienced, but he experienced something. He didn't just experience an illusion, he experienced something. And Lacan calls this other jouissance, other with a capital O, other jouissance, which big other jouissance would be the full way, which means that it's a form of jouissance which is so different from what we're used to in our lives. Lacan feels the need to have to give this the new term. So that's something I admire about Lacan, is that he certainly was not as closed off to spirituality as Freud. So
For sure, for sure.
yeah.
Despite him being an atheist, right? At least he proclaimed to be one.
Well, that's another. I agree with his brother that Lacan was faithful privately. I can send you the link to this.
Please do.
Yeah, so Lacan's brother has done one interview ever with a journalist. It was in 1996. This guy named Paul Rosen. He was just some random journalist, but he contacted Marc Louis Lacan and he decided to do it. And he sat down with him. He went to his monastery because he's a monk,
Yeah,
and
Bush brother.
Lacan's brother, yeah. So he sat down with him and he was like, "Tell me about Jacques' relationship with spirituality." And the brother said, "I wholeheartedly believe that Lacan was a Catholic till the day he died. Lacan created this facade that he wasn't Catholic in order to appease French academia and in order to gain status because he knew he would be left out. But Lacan studied with me. Lacan read all these Catholic books. Lacan went to Mass. Lacan baptized a second child. Lacan almost had his funeral, almost put in his will for the funeral to be in a, I think he, no, he did have his funeral in a church. He had his funeral in a church. He baptized a second child. His first marriage was in a church. So a lot of these events seem to indicate Lacan had some sort of private dealings with Christ, but only God knows. I don't want to speculate, so that's it.
Gosh, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Also, for me, in many ways, I'm a Kierkegaardian, and I kind of always resonate with that kind of deep personal struggle with
Yes.
subjective struggle with God, because in many ways that's how I read Kierkegaard, and I there's something, perhaps I get a sense of jouissance from that itself, just which is why I don't even know if I believe in God, but if people do ask from me, especially if it's someone who's, let's say, secular, I would say I'm still a Christian because I never stop thinking about it. It is something that I'm
Yeah.
working through.